To the gentleman sitting to my right, Mr. Russ Timspon, and we'll take a few more questions. I see you over there, sir. I haven't forgotten you. Right, over to Mr. Russ Timspon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Russ Timspon. I'm the prospective parliamentary candidate for Thanet South for the Liberal Democrats, and I'm going to park politics there. What I have done in my career is I've worked for BAA, so I've worked at 7 of the UK national airports: Heathrow, Gatwick, Stansted, Southampton, Aberdeen, Glasgow, Edinburgh, also in Perth, Melbourne. And in my career I've had the dubious honour, probably the only person in the room, I've had my feet on the ground in every airport in the UK. And that includes, so I've been to most of them. So I have a small understanding of how airports work. So that's what I'll base my comments on that I'm about to make now. Just got back from my Easter break down in Cornwall, stayed in the lovely little village of Padstow. All my family came down, extended family. 3 of them flew down from London to Newquay Airport. Fantastic small little airport, owned and run by the local council, would you believe? Superb facilities. They've got flights now going across the country. There is a model there. I'll come back to that in a moment. I also had the privilege recently, I'm an engineer by the way, and I specialise in tall buildings, very tall buildings. And I went to a meeting recently where I heard a chap called Erwin Seller. He's the guy, the developer behind the Shard in London. And at the start of that project, he had 3 of his major financial backers backed out on him because of the recession, and he was left with this project. Absolute desolation, didn't know what to do. He went cap in hand to Qatar and got the money, and the Shard was built, and it's now a fantastic success. And he said quite an amusing thing. He said, when you're in one of these projects and things are going wrong, he said, it's rather like a cooked English breakfast. He said, you work out who's involved and who's committed. He said, with a cooked breakfast, he said, the hens are involved, but the pigs are definitely committed. And I think for far too long in Manston, we've had people who are involved and not committed. And I think there will be a time and a place to say, how the hell did we get into this mess? But it's not the time right now. It's to make sure that we secure those jobs. So I've been asked to say, what's the future? Just giving insight to an airport. Now I know it's nothing like Manston Heathrow Airport, but Heathrow Airport's got 96,000 employees. 13 active languages amongst the staff. It is an extraordinary proposition, an airport, and don't underestimate the radial jobs that are provided by an airport. But let's just think about, and this is my opinion, but I've based it on my career. The future of Manston is not in passenger traffic. Right? It is not in passenger traffic. Right? We may get some passenger traffic, but it's going to be a minor element in the business plan, whether the business plan is being put together. So here's some ideas, and I did mention this at the meeting in Acol. A business that I was looking at a year ago, I went out to Washington in the States, went to a meeting of the Aircraft Recycling Association. There are 11,000 wide-bodied aircraft that are coming to the end of their life in the world. At the moment, there's nowhere for them to go to be recycled, i.e. the engine's taken off, the metal recycled, etc. There's no purpose-built facility in the world. Manston is the only place in the UK that has an Environment Agency licence to recycle aircraft. You've seen the aircraft sitting on the ramp, they get broken out. Manston's the only place that's got the approval to do that in the country. It's a unique opportunity. And if we could have the vision to build a purpose-built facility, it's a major revenue stream. Now, if you link to that, that the people who are going to take off the engines, take out the avionics, take the plane apart, they need to be trained. If we can link that to East Kent College, apprenticeships, and have the people that can take the aircraft on, 3 or 5 years down the line when they're qualified, they can then service operational aircraft. Norwich Airport, if you've ever flown through Norwich Airport, they make a lot of money out of painting aircraft, and they have 2 large hangars where they paint aircraft. There is still a massive capacity in things like painting aircraft. At BAA, who I used to work for, don't exist anymore because they've been broken up, as you know, we really had a problem trying to find places to train people. When you tow an aircraft in a tug, that's a very, very responsible job, and trying to do that on an operational airfield is very, very difficult. If you have an airport where not necessarily you've got the same traffic movements, you can do that kind of training very readily. What about an aerospace college here in Thanet, where we become the hub for the aerospace training for the whole of the UK? perfect facility for that. And some wider things. You know, we've got great roads around here. Here's a vision for you. Plane loads of should we say, people, tourists coming into Thanet, spending the overnight whilst they're waiting for their cruise ship to dock at Dover. So they get the chance to go up to London, they stay in local hotels, they get on a cruise ship because we've got easy cruise links, and they're coming from all around the world. Again, something that, you know, if we link up with Dover, Dover's spending a lot of money now turning itself into a passenger terminal hub. This is the kind of, from my perception, from what I'm seeing, this is the kind of wider lateral thought that hasn't been put into the airport. It's just been, let's get a carrier in here and try and get passengers. It's not going to work. The links to London, we've got to build that high-speed link. It's, as far as I'm concerned, for the money that's been spoken about, it's an absolute no-brainer. We should have a parkway, we should go to London straight away. Along with my colleague here, George Cunningham. George is down the front here. He's currently a diplomat in Brussels. He's already, as part of this, he's already lobbying people. George has got very good connections with China, and he's already lobbying people to get them involved, to see if they're prepared to invest. So I think we're all united in trying to make this thing work. I want to finish and close and, with three concrete proposals. I know there's a working group, and I know that they're meeting on Monday, but I think there's a separate role for a locally supported, even locally funded by the council, to get out there and be proactively marketing the airport. That group will talk about the nuts and bolts, but we need people out there doing it in an organised way to actually let people know about Manston. Manston is not on the radar as far as the airports industry is concerned. I was a member of the Airport Operators Association. It is just not on their radar, excuse the pun, in terms of aerospace. We need to get it on that place. Second concrete proposal is we need to explore this council ownership question. There are several models of airports in the country that are owned and run by the council. Some of you may not have a lot of faith if it's run by the council, and I'm not about to comment on the Thanet Council. But nevertheless, it is an option. It is definitely an option. And my third concrete proposal is, by the use of social media, by whatever means, we do need to have a referendum on night flights, and we need to put this to bed. And let's, never mind Boris signing, let's turn Thanet into optimism on it, because we've got things going for us. Just a quick word from my colleague, George.
Thank you very much, Russ, and I'm delighted to be with you for the first time because I was just selected about 2 weeks ago to be the Liberal Democrat candidate for North Thanet, so I'm very happy to get to know you for the first time today. Thank you. To let you know as well that, as you can see, Russ has a lot of experience, and I think we can be guided a lot by the things he knows. But on my side of things, I have a lot of contacts internationally in terms of the work that I do back in Brussels, and also having been at the United Nations, I've worked for multinational companies. So I've really started the process of looking far and wide also for an investor. What I'm missing, however, is a good business plan, a good set of options, in fact the kind of options that were mentioned by Russ, the sort of thing that you can actually send around and get interest. So we'll be putting something together, but I'll be very interested in any contributions that people may have as well, so that we can have a short piece written up about all the potential of the airport. All that I have at the moment is a series of web links with things that don't function, and that's not good enough in terms of getting investment in. And I do think also that we should open up a bit more transparently how negotiations are taking place and options are being put on the table, because we can get a far wider, perhaps, net thrown for potential investors worldwide. Thanks a lot.